Welcome to Aligned and Soulful Success, the podcast for high achieving first and second generation immigrants who are ready to align their ambitions with their soul's purpose. I'm your host, Kavita Melwani, a master intuitive success coach with over 2 decades of entrepreneurial experience and a decade dedicated to coaching. Together, we'll explore the unique challenges multicultural women face as they balance cultural expectations, family roles, and their professional ambitions, all while staying true to their authentic, divinely guided path. If you're ready to bridge your external success with your inner wisdom and rise into your purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Do you consider yourself hardworking? If so, you're not alone. A lot of people, but more so first and second generation immigrants, have a really, as they call it, great work ethic. And this comes from our conditioning, what we saw our parents, our families do, and actually it plays into our definition of success. And so the truth is, hard work does help, but it really isn't equal to success. And so it is kind of a challenge that a lot of us have, right? So I've heard from my clients so many times where they are working really hard in whatever their business or career, their life, and they are not necessarily the one that is recognized, or they're not promoted, or they're just not moving forward, and they don't understand why. And it's really like this belief that if I work hard enough, if I show how valuable I am to whatever organization, then I'm going to succeed and I'm going to move forward. And that's just not true, right? It's just not true. It's not always the hardest working people that make the most money or have the most success moving up the career ladder, or are the people that have the most fun experiences, right? And so last week I talked about redefining what success means to you and going beyond whatever narrow definition you have been programmed to believe, and then reinforced by media all around you, culture, and all the things that reinforce our beliefs. And so if you want to learn more about redefining success and how that can help you feel happier, more fulfilled, then listen to that episode. I'll have a link in the show notes. But this week I want to expand on that a little bit by talking more about our definition of hard work success, right? And so as I was saying, it's not about the fact that you're going to have this much higher level of success with hard work, right? And you may have seen that now, although that's the conditioning that you've been told. And there's almost this sense of admiration for some people that would be defined as uber successful, and that, like, oh, they must have really worked hard, or they're very smart, or all these things. And I'm not saying those are not that's not the case, right? But it is not an equal, like an equation equal, right? It's not that a person that's hardworking and smart is always going to have this level of success that is admired and matches the definition of success that society has for us. And then there are some people that have that success and feel really satisfied and fulfilled and happy in their lives. And then there are others that aren't, right? And it's because we're all unique individuals, but we're being pushed into this narrow definition of what it means to have a good, fulfilling, and successful life, right? And so when we move beyond and think that we just have to work harder when things are not working for us, and we just work harder, and we realize that that's not helping, then a lot of people can feel a sense of anger or other emotions, right? Or maybe there's resentment to others who seem to have the type of success that you like. And so then there's lots of things that can happen, right? Some people will hide. Some people say, well, maybe I need to change what I'm doing. Maybe I have to change my career. Maybe I have to change my business. And we'll think about like all the things that need to change in order for them to have what they want in their life. And then some people will do that, or some people will stay in that pre-contemplation phase of like trying to think about wanting to change, but really not wanting to change because they may be rocking the boat. And so as you think about like this idea of what you do when things don't work the way you would like, or if you've reached a plateau in your upward growth in your life, in your business, in your career, and you're not sure what is getting in the way of you moving past and reaching the level of success you desire, after you define what that success means to you today, and really investigate why you want that, then it's not necessarily about working harder and doing more. It is about doing inner work first. Now, I don't think you're going to just sit there and do some visualizations and everything's just going to kind of happen, right? There's always a mix of doing mindset work, doing subconscious work, deep depth work, and then taking that action and doing it concurrently is the most effective, right? So just looking externally for the answers and doing a bunch of things, it's like, as they say, throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping something sticks, right? And so that like you can do that, but eventually you're going to get tired. Eventually you're going to burn out, and eventually you will want to stop, right? And so instead of just kind of throwing things out there and hoping things work out, you start to look deeper at to what you actually want in your life and redefine that equation of hard work is equivalent to success, right? Because it's not the amount of work that you do that's going to determine your success. It is a lot more complicated than that, right? And so it's how can you work more effectively? How, when you do your task, how are you showing up in that? If you are not being seen at work or promoted, working harder or longer hours, that's not necessarily going to equate to you being promoted. So what is happening in that situation? So it takes that willingness to take responsibility for what is happening in your life, and then the willingness to look at what is going on from as much of an objective eye as you can, and check into like, what is missing here? What can I do differently? Right. And so I had a client once that, had this type of situation at work, and they were really, really good at what they did. So that's another kind of misconception. Like, if you're really good at what you do, then you're going to reach your level of success. I really don't believe that that's true. I believe that there's so many factors that come into play. And a lot of that has to do with, where you're starting, connections you have, examples of success, mentors. It has to do with what you feel about yourself. What's your conditioning? Like, there's a lot of things that come into play, right? And it's not just that she was not good at what she did, right? And it wasn't because she did not work hard, because she did work long hours. And so as we started talking and having our sessions and really investigating, she was willing to take responsibility for changing and knowing that something had to change. She wasn't sure if she needed to change her job or company. She really didn't want to start over in a new career. So that was not a thing that she was looking at. And so through our work together, she realized how much she would show up as a people pleaser and would take on tasks, right? She was the go-to person that people brought her if they needed something to get done because they knew she'd get it done, right? And her immediate supervisor was not going to benefit from her being promoted, because then who would do all those things that she does, right? So instead of it actually being to her advantage of taking on those tasks, it actually had her stuck in that position, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying not to take on extra tasks, but you can do that and also be strategic about it, right? Be strategic as to who you're doing it for, how it benefits the company, how are you being recognized or seen, and how does it being known that you're doing this, right? And so that was one thing for her to start to draw boundaries around what tasks she took on, and also being verbal about, tooting her own horn, talking about what she was doing, which a lot of us are told not to do, right? We're told not to rock the boat. And so she started to do that. And then also asking. This was a big thing. So we talked about how often, or what was the last time she asked for a promotion or a raise, right? And she just didn't do it. She had done it before, but not very often. It had only been once, and they said that they didn't have it in the budget at the time, and so she didn't do it. Ask again. But see, if there's this mix of her doing these tasks and then also it being known, her making it known actually would be more accurate, of that she's doing these tasks, and then going and asking for a raise. And then if that's not happened, asking what you can do. How can I, what can I do to be, promoted? What can I do to get to this next level? How can I have a mentor? So like that. So she ended up taking on less first. That was the first step. And then she started choosing projects. And then when her supervisor asked her to take on more tasks, she then looked at someone who was in the same position that she did and how many projects that person was managing and how many she had. And it was something ridiculous. I don't remember the exact number, but like this guy had about 80 and she had like 250 or something like that. And so she brought it to the supervisor and said, look, I already have 250. This person has 80 and they're at the same level, and I want to get promoted, and I don't have the ability to attend that management training program that you have because I'm managing all these accounts. So what can we do about it? And they hired someone to help her, I don't know if they've promoted someone in-house or not, but someone to help her with these accounts, and she was able to attend the management training and get promoted. Okay. And even better than that is they took off some of the accounts off her plate because she was doing so much more work than the other people in her same position. So this is an example of, hard work not equaling to the level of success. And for her, she really wanted to be in that higher level position so that she was not handling individual accounts, but she wanted to be more of that mentor, training other people role. And she really liked that. And that was part of her goal, right, in her career. So being able to do that, she really enjoyed work a lot more. And she, of course, she did get a raise as well. And so it was a really just making those steps and really like looking at what was happening. And I coached her through some of the subconscious programming she had around what's possible for her. This is the result she had. So just give you this story for you to have a specific example of how it can impact you. And so I would recommend you look at your definition of hard work and how it equates to success. I would look at how you function in your life, in your work, in your career, and see if this kind of program is running in the background, right? Work must work harder. Hard work is how I'm going to be successful. And start to question that and see what is the truth of what's happening. What is one thing that's getting in the way of you reaching your success? And so I am going to have on Friday my class, Success with Soul, how you to use your intuition for growth. Okay. And so that is some of these, in this class, I will teach you some of the things that I teach my clients so that they can reach their levels of success, and how to access your intuition. so you can make decisions. So even by just by attending, the goal is that you are leaving with something that you actually use in your life and implement immediately. It is free, the class. It's an hour long. And if you can't make it live, if you register, you'll have access to the recording for 2 weeks after. So use the link and register. And if you know that you want to work with me on your purpose and your success, then use the link in the show notes to book your Awaken Your Purpose session. So in the meantime, take good care. Bye.